guys, how you doing? This is Andrew Sims with the Sims Consulting Group, and today's Worship Wednesday discussion is going to be one that I think is important, man. It's something that I've dealt with as a business owner, man. Just as a person, I think it's something that we all deal with, and it's really basically. And I wrote down the title. It's when motivation becomes the source of discouragement, or when the motivation becomes the source of discouragement. And kind of the backdrop to this whole little Worship Wednesday is really, a lot of times when I go to different pages, and I'm not a big social media guy, so I'm not all over the place with looking at different consultants and influencers and things like that. But I occasionally go out there to peruse and see what's out there and see kind of what's shaking, if you will. And what I noticed, man, is on some of these pages, man, you have these. It's nothing wrong with having dreams and goals and, wanting a big house or wanting a nice car or, saying, hey, man, I brought in $100,000 this month and, I worked 15 minutes, stuff like that, man. And while it's meant to motivate, I think it sets unrealistic expectations for most new entrepreneurs or startups, and it puts them in a place where the same thing that we're using to motivate them becomes a source of discouragement to them. And that's kind of why I don't do it, man. I have some nice things, man, and I've acquired some things over my life, man. And it's real simple to just pull up a picture and put it on and put some nice hashtag sign or some quote, or it's even funny, man, when nothing wrong with it, but they put scriptures and stuff and they put it out there to say, man, you can have this. And that's fine if that's what you're aspiring to have, right? There's nothing wrong with saying I want a 10-bedroom home, man. Jesus said, I came that you might have life and have it more abundantly, to the full till it overflows and things like that, right? He became poor that we might become rich and things like that. So I'm not saying that those things are the problem, but I generally want to focus on the process of becoming just a successful, running, thriving business, a successful, thriving person, a successful, thriving family, a successful, thriving ministry, as opposed to saying you're going to have all of these things that you may not see in your everyday life right now, because those things make it seem so far away. You know what I mean? If you're living in a one-bedroom apartment and you have a 10-bedroom home on your wall, great. If it doesn't discourage you, man, fine. But sometimes you can look at that 10-bedroom home and say, I'll never get there. My thought process is to look at the process and say, what do I need to do day by day in order to just move forward? I think a lot of times, man, we see people, part and parcels of their lives. We don't see the process. Like T.D. Jakes talks about it a lot, man. T.D. Jakes said, man, you didn't see me when I was digging graves trying to keep my ministry afloat. You see me, T.D. Jakes, that's flown around the world and met with the president and things like that. But a lot of the story of how he became T.D. Jakes is sort of lost in the awe of who he is. And I think a lot of times, especially now, as entrepreneurs, as it becomes popular to be an entrepreneur in title or a boss or whatever word that you want to use, fine. Whatever you want to title yourself, I have no bones about it. But if we don't become process focused, we're going to really hurt a generation of entrepreneurs, making them think that sometimes those things come. Let me just say it like this: it takes a long time for a business to even become a thriving, successful organization. Some statistics say 3 to 5 years before you become a profitable business. And in those 3 to 5 years, you are working like, for some people, you are working harder than you've ever worked in your life. And you're not necessarily making 10-bedroom type of money. A lot of times, you're just paying staff, or you're balancing the books, or you're crafting ideas, and you're streamlining or carving out your niche, or you're building your clientele. So while money's coming in the front door, it's going out the back for marketing, or it's going out the back for any portion of the sustaining of that business. So my caution And what I'm going to do different is I'm going to focus on the process. I want you to dream. I want you to have faith. I want you to trust God. If the 10-bedroom house is what you want, God bless you. But you're not going to see a bunch of that from me. You're going to see a lot of the day-to-day process and those questions and those ideas and those things that challenge us as business owners, challenge us as real estate investors or whatever. Because, right? I dabble I've dabbled and I still dabble in real estate, right? What happens is, right? We you can look at a house and it has to be completely gutted. Let's say you drive by a house, you buy it, and you get this house for $40K, right? And it has to be completely gutted, and that's a process of renovating, building and then flipping that house to make that profit in order to now reinvest back into another home or whatever it is you're going to do, right? Take out a little profit, reinvest. And we're good at showing that, right? Where we're saying, hey man, this home may be on the market for a long time. This home may sit on the market. It didn't sell when we thought it was going to sell. So now that we have the money in the investment, but now we have to pay the rental fees and all these things and mortgage and all of that stuff to keep it before we get somebody in there or we sell it. So from a business standpoint, very few times do I go on people's pages and they're hurting. And I'm not saying that you have to show all that, but there is an aspect of walking by faith and not by sight when it comes to being an entrepreneur, no matter what your arena, no matter your industry or whatever, what have you. And that process has to be taught, because if not, we'll have a generation of people thinking you can microwave a successful organization. Now, you can cookie cut a lot of different things and maybe have some success, right? But when you're talking about growing an organization that's going to eventually employ people, it takes time. It takes a lot of work. And while I can show you an office building of 30, 40 people, and there's Benzes outside and all that stuff like that, and I could go to any particular platform and pull down a Lamborghini driving down the street with somebody looking like they're having a good time and put a nice quote. For some, that's going to motivate them. But for, I believe, the majority of people that see it, it may make them feel like just not good. It may not do what I wanted to do, and that's tell them that you can have it, but there's a process by which you're going to go to achieve it. And that process is hard sometimes, it's tough sometimes, but it's very achievable. And a lot of times, man, when you get that stuff, it's not going to really fulfill you the way you think it is. For the person that is having a rough time and they think, man, life would be so much better if I, let's say like this, for the person that's living in a 1-bedroom apartment, and they think that 10-bedroom house is going to make them so much more happier for a short time, probably, maybe the first year. But after you start getting the lawn, the maintenance of the property, the lawn care, the how much it costs to heat that joint or keep it cool, or the pool maintenance fees, or so then you got to redo the roof or whatever it is, you're going to realize it's another piece of property. It's another responsibility. It's something that you have to bring into your stewardship. It's not all fun and games. The more you have, the more you have to steward over. The more you're responsible for. When you have 30 people, if you're finding it hard to have 3 people work for you, you're going to find it a lot harder to have 30, because now you're responsible for 30 people that work for you, plus the families that they're providing for. So all I'm saying is, don't let the source or don't let the things that we quote unquote use for motivation become a source of discouragement. Focus on the process. My objective of this whole thing is to tell you to just focus on the process. If you're in school and you're dreaming about walking down that aisle, sure, walking down that aisle is the end goal, and you could look at graduation pictures and you could pick out your outfit, but it would become it would be easier in my mind to say, okay, what do I need to do today? What assignments do I have? To just take it day by day. And it'll give you a sense of accomplishment each day as you start to check those things off. I got better at this. Yeah, I didn't make the profit I want, but I got better. You know? Yeah, the marketing didn't work, but I found out what doesn't work, so now I can go over to something else to get closer to what does work for my particular market. And I'm gonna leave you with this last scripture, and because again, the source of being let me say not the source, the reason behind being blessed financially and any other portion of the blessing is to be generous, right? I'm not. I don't. How do I say this? I'm not around very. I don't have very many business friends that are not in it to either provide, of course, a good service and things like that, but really they want to provide jobs, and they want to be generous. They want their generosity to show much more than they want their toys and trinkets. Does that make sense? So the goal behind running a successful organization, one, is to provide opportunities for people that look like me, or that you want to provide opportunities for, right? Let's just leave it there. And then the second part is to be generous. Be generous. Bless people. If you got it like that, pay somebody's mortgage. Go into a grocery store, man, and everybody in front of you, man, I'm paying for it. I'm good. It's not, we don't got to make it rain. I mean, good. I mean, you are providing for some people that are in there, that's their job, and the bartenders and right. Okay, cool, whatever. But the goal is to be successful, to be generous, right? Not to say that you give all your money away, but your generosity speaks loud, man. So don't covet these things, and just to be up here and to show that the kind of stunt or whatever. I'm past that. That doesn't. Well, I've never really been that guy, but that doesn't do anything for me to stunt. But again, let me leave you with the description. It's Psalms 112, verse 5, and it says, "It is well with the man who deals generously and lends, who conducts his affairs with justice." It's well with the man who deals generously and lends. I want to be that guy. There are a lot of hurt people who God has not called to start their own business, but He's called, and I believe He's called to partner with people like me, as far as being a partner, an employee, whatever, to help move this gospel thing along, man. So I want to be generous, man. I want to be generous, and I don't want, and for you, for those people that are going after an entrepreneurial route and they're going to build a business, I don't want you to look at these trinkets, man, and think they're so far away and be so focused on the trinkets that you overlook the process, and you fall because you're discouraged that you don't have the quote unquote things that an entrepreneur should have. So I just don't want that for you, man. And again, that scripture, Psalm 112, verse 5. So man, just be blessed. Be blessed, and don't let those things that we use for motivation become a source of discouragement for you, man. Once again, this is Andrew Sims with the Sims Consulting Group. Y'all be blessed, man. Peace.